Now, according to Greens MLC John Kaye, the government's funding schools run by the Scientologists, and he's not happy about it. Now, the government's also funding schools run by Catholics, by Anglicans, but he's not happy about the Scientologists. And I'm going to be honest, I don't know a lot about Scientology. I know that Nick Xenophon, under the cover of parliamentary privilege, absolutely ripped into them. Because he said what he said under parliamentary privilege, I have to be very careful here as well. But he says that fewer than 100 children will benefit from more than $1.6 million in federal government funds going to just 2 schools, and this is over 4 years. Now, the Athena School in Newtown, well, it's a prime example. It will receive over $750,000 in recurrent funding for the 2009-2012 funding period, in addition to money for a new library and classroom refurbishments. And according to the school's website, it teaches from the booklet, The Way to Happiness. Now, The Way to Happiness is written by the founder of Scientology, L. Ron Hubbard, who wrote the Mission Earth series. But why is the government funding schools run by an organisation which many see as little more than a cult? John Kaye, the New South Wales Greens MP, has been good enough to talk to us this afternoon, and you were good enough to talk to us yesterday, John, but time got away with us, so thank you for today.
As it does, Luke. How are you?
I'm very, very well. Let's go through this with calm minds if we can, because government gives plenty of schools that some people might see as a little bit out there money. It certainly gives Anglican and Catholic schools money. Few people would see the Anglican Church and the Catholic Church as a cult. But tell me about this funding for a school linked with Scientology. Take us through it.
Okay, so the school, let's talk about the school in Sydney. It's in Newtown. It's called the Athena School. It's a very small school. It's got now less than 60 students in it. It's going to, over the next 4 years, receive $1.38 million from the Commonwealth and state governments, $328,000 from the state, $750,000, as you said in your intro, from the Commonwealth in recurrent. That's ongoing funding, and another $300,000 in Kevin Rudd's Building the Education Revolution. So, for a small school, it's doing very, very well out of funding. My estimate is that at least half of the cost of running the school is being paid for by the taxpayers in terms of one form of subsidy or another. So we, as the taxpayers, have skin in the game. We ought to have some say over what happens in that school. Now, you correctly point out that we also, as taxpayers, put a lot of money into Catholic schools, and Anglican schools, Buddhist schools, Baha'i faith schools, Jewish schools, and so on. But we claim this is very different. We have an organisation here. I'm not talking about the religion, but the organisation here that Kevin Rudd agreed with, the Prime Minister agreed with Senator Xenophon and said that he shared with many Australians concerns about this school. We've had in New South Wales the Education Minister, Verity Firth, banning a human rights document produced by the Scientologists that promoted L. Ron Hubbard alongside Mahatma Gandhi as a great contributor to human rights. That was being circulated in public schools in New South Wales. Verity Firth said it was inappropriate.
So we've got L. Ron Hubbard being compared with Mahatma Gandhi?
Yeah, absolutely. Now, L. Ron Hubbard was a science fiction writer.
Mission Earth.
Mission Earth, yeah. He wrote a number of books. They're actually some of them are interesting books. He wrote a number of books in science fiction. He then did 2 other things. He set up a church called Scientology, and he he'd invented a form of teaching called applied scholastics, or study tech is the other name or other component of it. Both applied scholastics and study tech do not stack up when it comes to academic research. Do not stack up when you have independent research asking whether it's effective or not. Both of them are really outside of the mainstream, well outside of the acceptable level styles of education that should be carried on. Yet we as a society are funding the school. We're supporting the school. It goes from K to year 10. We're supporting the school with a lot of money, even though it's closely associated with an organisation that Kevin Rudd says and he shares with them the concerns of many Australians with this organisation, and there are real question marks over applied scholastics.
All right, I need to learn more about Scientology. I know that Scientology enjoys great PR from some very famous people, including Tom Cruise and John Travolta, correct?
That's correct. I understand that to be the case, yeah. Can I just make one point here? We're not talking about Scientology per se. That's a set of beliefs. We're talking about the way the church operates. We're talking about the issues raised by Senator Xenophon and others in respect of Scientology were not about the religion itself or the set of beliefs. And one can have one's own opinions about various sets of beliefs that exist. That there's the issue of the inner Thetan and the 40 million years ago, 40,000 years ago, the spaceship landing and so on.
Yeah.
People can have those beliefs. The question mark that's been raised here is about the behaviour of the organisation itself, how it's behaving, what it's doing, what impact it's having on people, and whether that's an appropriate organisation to be running a school.
Look, the last thing I want to do is start a Muslim school lynching mob, which has happened, and we're not doing that. I just want to understand more, and I want to know why my money's going there. Can you stay there for a second, John?
Sure.
John Kaye, New South Wales Greens MP. And I'll let you join in, John, because Carmel Underwood is on the other line. Now, Carmel Underwood is a former Scientologist and a former board member of the Athena School and joins me. Carmel, good afternoon.
Hi there.
Hi, John Kaye's on the other line, and I haven't got all afternoon to do this, but you actually withdrew your children from the school, correct?
Yes, I did.
Why?
Well, there's a couple of reasons. We wanted them to have a broader education, and the kids were starting to pick up on a Scientology-type groupthink, like the Scientology mindset. There's a culture within the Church of Scientology that we didn't like, that we didn't agree with, and the kids were starting to pick up on that. And as well as that, we didn't like the idea of our youngest son being put through Scientology disciplinary actions. You know, like I signed a program for for him to improve his behaviour, sort of thing. We would have just rather had the standard sort of handling as opposed to the typical Scientology disciplinary programs that they would do.
John?
Yeah, well, that's part of what we're talking about here. That the question marks over the kinds of teaching, the applied scholastics, the kind of discipline that's being used. We think that at the very least there should be an investigation by the Department of Education, indeed the Board of Studies, into this school to make sure that it exists within the normal realms of behaviour.
Yeah, the thing is with both schools, whether we're talking Yarralinda in Victoria or Athena in Sydney, I mean, normally you would think that the church would be helping the school, but when it comes to the two Scientology schools that I know of, now this is in the past, basically the church would get the school to help the church as opposed to the other way around. You know, whether it was funds or new recruits or they would sell them books, get money, get income from them for book packages, things like that. So it's more like if the church was actually helping the school, that would be fine, except more from my experience, I would say that the...
I think, just to paraphrase you, I think you're saying that the school is looking after its own needs as far as Scientology is concerned and not necessarily the children's needs. Is that what you're saying?
Well, not the school itself. I mean, like, the school itself, the teachers there, I know a lot of people that were involved in the school. I helped build up the Athena School. We had the kids in mind. We wanted good things for those kids. And the teachers there had good intentions for the kids, but we were all Scientologists. And so being Scientologists, we were subject to the control of the church. And if we didn't comply, sometimes there was the odd occasion when we didn't comply with what the church wanted, then we would be subjected to disciplinary action within the church. So what I'm trying to say is that the church actually has control over the school in that it has control over its staff because those staff are Scientologists.
Well, I'll have to leave Carmel there. I will talk to Carmel in more detail on another day, but John Kaye, you'll continue to look into this?
We're going to continue to look into it. We're going to ask the Board of Studies to conduct an investigation. We're also beginning to receive a lot of information from individuals who've had interactions with the Scientology organisation and with the school. We obviously need to verify that, and we will be pursuing the matters raised in those emails.
All right, we'll keep an eye on it too, because it's good to know where your money's going. John Kaye, Greens MP, thank you for that.
Thank you, Luke.
Okay, bye-bye now. There you go.